Hi there, welcome back to my cooking class. It's Jacqueline McGrath here, and how fun would it be to get an epic box filled with 7 different meals for you to try out every month? Well, welcome to our subscription pack called the Epic Box. Today's cooking class, I'm going to feature a couple of items in the box for the month of March. Now, this box will be retired. And if you are actually subscribing right now in the month of March, just know that the box in April will look totally different and we'll have some more fun at that time. So today in the box, what we're going to feature is our taco seasoning. And I'm going to use our little sample pack of our 3 onion. So let's get started. How did I decide what meal I was going to do today? Well, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary, and at one time, pre-social media and digital, we actually had cookbooks. And so in the 5th anniversary cookbook, I was thinking, gosh, you know what? I think I made a really cool dish way back then. And sure enough, on page 31, I made a Mexican lasagna. So this is what I'm going to do, but I'm modifying it because we're doing a frugal feast cooking class, and I'm just going to use up things that I've got in my fridge because we need to save money, don't we? So let's get started with my variety of our cooking class today. So first off, we're going to get our stove going, and I am going to, here we go. Yep, there we go, perfect, don't want it that hot. I'm gonna get this cooked up. Now, we've got basically lean beef. And what we're going to do is we're gonna simply read the package on the back, which says, in a large frying pan, brown some lean ground beef, chicken, or turkey, or soy, if you're vegan, and stir in the seasoning mix with a cup of water. Now, why do we add water? And this is our 4-cup prep bowl, by the way. Comes with lids. So we're just going to pour this right in. We're pouring this in because we actually need to make sure that our package of seasoning opens up and we get the flavor. So I'm going to use our scissors and just cut the bottom here and pour this right into the fry pan here. All right, now, while this is getting heated up, let me tell you a little bit more about how we're going to make this. So we are going to be using our round silicone cake pan. Now this can be either put in the oven or it can be used in the microwave. Oh, and I should probably feature this item. Have you ever been cooking, I don't know, ground beef and notice it just stays in that form? This is called our meat separator, and you're going to love it because these blades will actually cut in the bottom of your fry pan without damaging the integrity of your pan. It also makes it in nice bite-sized chunks. So I'm just going to use this to break this up a bit and let it cook. And we're getting that seasoning in here. Now, the difference between our taco seasoning and store-bought seasoning is, of course, we don't add all those artificial colors, sweeteners, flavorings, preservatives. Ours is basically just the bare bone basics of major flavor. So this is cooking up. Once we've got our meat all done, we're gonna add some more items to this. I'm using our little knife here to make sure I'm getting all the flavoring in here. Just set that off to the side. All right, so what else are we going to be putting in it? Well, we're going to put in diced tomatoes. Now, if you don't have diced tomatoes, you can always use fresh tomatoes. Make sure that they're nice and juicy though, because you want flavor. One of the things I absolutely hate about tacos, and my kids love taco, it's a fun meal, but it was also really messy, which is why I came up with this taco dish, it's like a taco pie or taco lasagna, is because it's a way to keep the hamburger from not flying all over your kitchen table, right? So I wanted to somehow make sure that I created something that the kids could have the flavor, but it wasn't a real mess with me having to vacuum the floor and wash the floor and basically clean everything within a 3 feet proximity of the kitchen table. So some of these tools that I'm using, so this is our silicone spoon, sauté spoon. If you're looking for this to purchase it, you'll notice that it is not individually sold. We have a collection called the Utensil, Prep Pro Utensil Set. And it's a set of really good universal tools for the kitchen. You're gonna love the handle on it. That being said, it is one of, because it's multiple items, it is a higher price point. So if you're wanting to save money, just book your own cooking class so you can get it as a free or half price item with our host benefits. Okay, so this is, as you can see, I've got the heat going, it's steaming a little bit, and this is evaporating some of the liquid. That way the flavor is going into the meat. Okay, so we've got our tomatoes that we're going to be putting in here, and I am going to reserve some of the tomatoes in a bowl because we're going to make salsa as well. I mean, no taco is perfect without having a little bit of avocado, a little bit of salsa, maybe a little bit of sour cream. And of course, all those can be vegan as well, right? The beans, now I had mentioned the reason I like doing the taco pie is I like binding it. And normally when you have plain tacos in your taco shell, what ends up happening is as soon as you bite into the crunchy shell, it breaks up and everything goes flying. I'm actually going to put in beans today. These are organic pinto beans. You can use any bean you've got. So if you're in the grocery store, beans are a staple. They're good in protein. And it's going to be a good binder to add to this so that we can get the flavor, get the binding agent, and of course, it's a good blend. I don't know if you've ever gone to a taco place, but you'll notice that they have bean and beef burritos, bean and beef tacos. And again, another way to extend your cost of your meat. Okay, so we've got this cooking. I'm just going to scoop out some of our tomatoes here. Add this in here. And I'm going to add our beans. Now this is our 3-in-1 spatula. It's got a scraper, it's got a little bit of a scoop, and it's great for putting on for knives, but as you can see, this is fabulous for actually getting inside cans, especially those tomato paste cans that are quite narrow. This tool you're gonna absolutely love. So now you'll notice I didn't drain my beans on this. I just wanted the flavor in this. So again, going back to our separator here, our meat separator, I'm actually using this now to mash. So I'm just sort of mixing the beef, mashing the beans, mashing a little bit of the tomatoes, getting it a good mix on this. And we're just going to cook this down. Now, if you're using the oven, what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna put the temperature in your oven at about 350 degrees. So now would be a good time to, or at the beginning of when you're starting, get your oven on to 350 degrees. Now, if you're one of these people that is really tight for time and you're going, oh, I don't have 30 minutes to bake this in the oven, microwave it. This great little tool here will actually be good in either places. So it's good in the oven or the microwave. Now, one thing I will say is if you're putting it in the oven, because it's flimsy, as you can see, one of the little hacks that I have is we have cooling racks. They're sold in sets of 2. And quite often when I'm putting this in the oven, I will turn the rack upside down and I will literally set this on top. Now, it allows me to be able to grab here and put it in my oven and pull it out super, super easy, and then I can just slide it off when it's done. Pretty cool, right? Okay, of course, if you're putting it in the microwave, which is what I'm going to do today, we do not want to put metal in there. So let me get my form started. Hang on, let me just give this another quick little stir. So if you have any questions, post them below. You can see how it's thickening up. And of course, it's got that great flavor of taco. I'm just making sure I get the liquid down there because I want to try to heighten the flavor by getting rid of lots of the moisture. Okay, so you can use corn or flour. I do not have a gluten intolerance, so I'm using flour tortillas today, simply because we had them in the house because we were doing some wraps. But if you want to do corn tortillas, you can as well. These are the larger size. If you can only get one size and it doesn't go all the way to the edge, it's not a big deal. It's going to just flow and it's going to bind anyway. So I will set this in, and if it's a little bit larger, just press it in the corners so it actually even goes up maybe the wall. Some of these are smaller, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the bottom. This makes a nice, great base for your taco pie. Okay, give it another little stir. Okay, I'm gonna put some in here right now. So allow it to cook up a little bit. Okay, so now it's just a simple matter of getting the first layer in, and then I'm going to show you what our next layer is going to include. So let's just put some of this in here. Make sure you spread it out. You can leave your chunks large. Hey, and I did mention that I'm using lean ground beef, but I mentioned you could use taco. Sorry, not taco, chicken or turkey or soy. Doesn't really matter. But you want to make sure that whatever you use, that it's in bite-sized pieces. So even if you had leftover beef stew or something and you just wanted to have something a little bit different, you could use full chunks of beef as well. Okay. Just a quick little stir. I'm gonna set it aside for our next layer. Okay. All right, so what are we going to do with our next layer? This is going to be fun. Now, when you're making tacos, of course, they always have cheese in them. And so I thought what might be really cool is if we made our mac and cheese. Yes. So this is our mac and cheese seasoning. This is not part of the Epic collection, but it is a package that you're gonna love because it doesn't have all the preservatives. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this to our 4-cup prep bowl. Okay, this comes with the lid. I love the size, and I want to bind this because this cheese sauce is not cooked in advance. And of course, if we add an egg to it, once it's heated, it's gonna be a binder, a coagulant, okay? So let's just break a quick egg in here. And we're going to use our mini whisk. Just make sure that we've got that broken up a bit. Now we're just going to use a little bit of milk. So I've got oat milk here. You could use any milk that you have. Again, another one of our 4-cup prep bowls. And now we're going to grab our scissors and we're going to add our mac and cheese. And then I'm going to show you the last item that we're going to add for flavor. Okay, so put our mac and cheese in there. Now, this is just a fabulous cheese flavoring. So what I want to do is I want to add our 3-onion mix. Now, this is a dip mix. It's actually sold normally in jars, but this month it's a sampling, and this is a pantry basic. If you have ever cried when you're cutting up onions, this is gonna be your best friend because the seasoning's already chopped up for you, okay? We're just gonna sprinkle this in because it's gonna give us lots of flavor. Give this a little stir. I'm gonna turn my stove off here because I can tell it's cooking up. Perfect. Oh my gosh, guys, I sure wish you could be at my house. There's just 2 of us here right now, and this is going to be such an awesome dinner, but so darn simple. Okay, so we'll give this a stir. Get it all mixed up. And I'm going to throw this in the microwave, and then I'm going to give you guys some fun food facts. Okay, now do not taste this. It's a raw egg in here. You can taste it after so you know the flavoring on this. Okay, but can you see how it's quite thick already? So it's going to be like a sauce over top. So let me just move a few of these things here. Oops, loose leaves are probably not the best thing in a kitchen. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put another layer on top here. We're going to get our sauté spoon that I was stirring with right here, and we're going to scoop this cheese sauce on top, the whole thing. Because as you can see, we can't do too many layers because we've only got about an 1.75 inches height on this. Okay, so we'll just clean up my mess, spread that around. That's our cheese sauce, and it's going to thicken right up when we cook it. Okay, next, another layer. So grab your tortilla again, and we're going to take our beef mix. Now, if there's any leftovers, keep it. You can use it for another dish tomorrow. Because I'm going to put one more layer of cheese on top of here, and then we're going to cook it up. Yum. Doesn't it look great? Don't you think your family's going to love this? And I'm going to tell you the cleanup's going to be way easier because this is going to totally be binding together. One more scoop of meat here. Now I'm going to use this leftover. I'm just going to put it in my prep bowl, my 4-cup prep bowl, and I'm going to use this for probably something else tomorrow in my lunch. The nice thing about Epicure is you cook once and you eat twice. All right, so let's just slide that out of the way. Okay, so what are we going to put on the top? Well, I'm going to add a little bit of cheese. And this could be Monterey, it could be, gosh, mozzarella. It doesn't really matter. It could be cheddar. It's like, what do you have in your fridge? I was pulled over by a lady who was in the grocery store, and she was saying, oh my gosh, the cheese was $25. Granted, it was a larger bag, but she said, I can't afford cheese. It's like, anyway, yeah, it's pretty scary. So just use what you have. You definitely do not want to be throwing away food at this point. Okay, so I am going to microwave that. Now, one more thing before I stick it in. This, I do want to let you know, this taco package is a very mellow flavoring. It's a family flavoring. So if you want to have a little bit more zip to it, this is what I'm doing for Dawn and I. I'm going to add a little bit of jalapeno sliced peppers on the top. If you've got little kids, probably not something you're going to want to do, but I know for myself, I love the extra heat. Okay, so now I'm just going to put it in the microwave, and I'll be right back. All right, so let's talk about some fun food facts. Let me just clean my mess up here. Okay, so some fun food facts that I'm going to share is all about tacos. As I mentioned, tacos, believe it or not, sorry, cleaning up my mess. Tacos, believe it or not, are one of these meals that goes back like forever. In fact, they believe that tacos might go back to 1000 BC or 500 BC. The origin of it, no one really knows because of the history going back that far. But basically, tacos are basically an edible spoon. Now, what can I tell you? What else can I say? Oh, how popular are tacos? Tacos are so darn popular that in the United States, Americans usually eat 4.5 billion tacos per year. Annually, 4.5 annually. That is crazy. And in fact, one of the first food trucks was in New York, of course. Everything happens in New York. If it can make it there, it can make it anywhere. So from New York in 1966, I think there's probably a taco truck in almost every major center. It is such a popular meal. And it's one of the reasons why we have a collection with Epicure. We actually have a good Mexican real fast box that you can get. So anyway, here's just an idea of what you might want to do. Okay, so now I had reserved some of my tomatoes. So in our 4-cup prep bowl, I am going to want to make some sort of salsa. And this is one of the reasons why I love Epicure. You know, normally you go to the store and you buy already made salsa, right? And once you open up the jar, there's an expiry date on it because spores start growing on it within a few days. The nice thing about this is it's a dry mix. So this jar will flavor many, many cans of diced tomatoes or real tomatoes. The directions are simply right on the back of the jar. It says 2 tablespoons of mix, 2 cups of diced tomatoes, and a splash of lime juice. Now, I will tell you, if you put 2 tablespoons using our 4-in-1 spoon, 2 tablespoons is really hot, okay? The nice thing about Epicure is you can flavor it as you want by simply controlling how much you put into your diced tomatoes. So grab your 4-in-1 spoon, tablespoon at this end, teaspoon at this end, flip it over, half a teaspoon, and then there's a line halfway up, so now you have a quarter. Now again, I mentioned that Dawn and I do like our spice, and you'll notice that the 4-in-1 spoon actually fits right inside the spice jar. So I'm going to use half of what it normally says. Grab my little spatula here. And I'm going to start mixing this, and then I'm going to add a little splash of lime using our citrus press. Now, did you notice I stuck this in and I didn't put the lemon or lime in yet, but you'll notice that there was a little bit of juice on there, and already the seasoning has absorbed the liquid. So now it's becoming more chunkier and not so liquidy. So grabbing your lime, using our flexible cutting board, what you're going to do is you're going to actually take the sheath or the protector off your knife, give this a cut in half, get your citrus press, and this is a 2-in-1 citrus press, so lime, of course, and lemon. And you'll notice the holes are on the bottom. That does not mean you set it in like this. I have watched so many cooking shows with people setting it in like this, like major shows on TV, and it's like, hello folks, the hole's in the bottom. Lime, the holes are in the bottom. So that means you're going to put your lemon or lime upside down, and you're literally squeezing the insides right out. You're basically inverting it. So you're gonna get a lot more juice out of your lemon or lime. Okay, so I've just added that to it. Give that a little stir. And if you make this just a few minutes before, I think the instructions actually say let it sit. It just says let stand for 15 minutes. I don't even see it having to wait 15 minutes. It's just because you want the moisture in there to moisten up the seasoning, because they're quite large chunks. And you can see how far this would go. When people are just looking at our poco salsa, in the catalog, they think, oh my gosh, this is so expensive for this one jar, thinking it's already pre-made. It's not. And you can use this seasoning in so many different things like chili. You can make your own queso dip, so zipping up some extra cheese with this. It can be your secret recipe to anything that you want to add a little bit of heat to. You're simply using the ceramic knife. I'm just going to round around that, give it a twist, and we've got a perfect avocado because it is super, super hot. So this is our taco pie, totally done. Now, all I would do is maybe get a plate and get this set up and put your avocado slices on top as you're serving it. You can put cilantro on, a dollop of sour cream. You get to decide how you want to do this. Let it cool down just a little bit because it is piping hot out of the oven. But you have a perfect Mexican lasagna, a taco pie, or whatever you want to call this.